Rajko Badurina, streamlining the transport process via electronic transaction platforms.
Good afternoon. I'm representing small software development company. We are producing software mostly for sea and land transport and related interfaces to external systems such as port community systems, several times mentioned before, terminal operating systems, custom systems, shipping company IT systems, and similar systems. I will try to explain how software defined as transportation management system can help in better organization of the cargo transport. In the middle of our example, there is one forwarding company. I will try to explain how they are communicating in everyday business cycles with other members in transport chain in order to organize transport of goods from source to destination. We will start with shippers and consignees. Depending on the cargo direction, forwarding company is communicating every day with such companies. They are inquiring about conditions, they are sending offers, they are negotiating about transport conditions, relations, and services and their prices. And after the transport is agreed, they are preparing various transport documents like shipping instructions and others. They, of course, have to invoice their services and they have to perform financial control regarding payments, and they are reporting to shipper, consignee, and to own management about transport development progress. And, of course, they are using mostly mail and phone in their communication. Unfortunately, there is not any EDI interface between. It is not rule, it is just in common practice. After that, there is sea transport organized. Forwarding company is contacting shipping agent or shipping company itself, and they are inquiring several shipping companies for get their transport conditions, relations, services, and available prices. And after the transport is agreed, they have to prepare again transport documentation. They have to open first bookings. After that, they are preparing transport documentation for sea part of the transport. And they are using mail and phone in their communication, and it is possible to use EDI interfaces or to access to IT system of some shipping company or shipping agent. For example, shipping companies are offering part of their IT system to external customers. So in our example, forwarding company can log in, for example, in Maersk logistics system, and they can open booking, they can produce shipping instruction, insert and make amendments, and they can trace cargo from source to destination. Next logical part of the transport is of course land transport, meaning railway and truck transport companies. In this case, forwarding company has to send inquiries about relations and prices, and of course after transport is agreed, they have again to prepare transport documents, this time for land transport, and they have to perform financial control regarding inbound invoices and payments. They are using mail and phone, and again, EDI interfaces are not included in common practice for this purpose. Now, next in our transport organizing are terminal operators, very important part of the transport. In order to organize terminal manipulations, forwarding company has to send orders to terminal operator, and forwarder is tracing manipulations, and of course we have again financial control regarding inbound invoices and payments. mail and phone as usually, but we have now IT access and EDI interfaces which are in common practice for placing the orders. For example, in Rijeka, Container Terminal is offering both possibilities. You can log in Navis terminal operating system of Container Terminal, and forwarder can open orders, confirm orders, and trace the manipulation cycle. Or simply forwarder, if has some software support, can prepare XML messages, send XML messages through EDI interface in Navis system, and the result will be the same. Order will be inserted in Navis or Navis. Another part, also very important, is custom authority. Fortunately, for all EU countries, there is the same custom regulation with some minor local exceptions. In order to communicate with customs, forwarder has to install client application, and this client application has to be capable of connecting to customs EDI interface, and forwarder is sending XML messages to custom authorities in order to perform custom procedures for all custom procedures regarding transit, import, export, and also additional control customs procedures related to import and export of goods. Another part of their activity are financial operations, including insurers and banks. Usually forwarder or other bank client, they have available web application, and they can to prepare financial transaction in web application, and transactions has to be confirmed with digital signature. There is also other possibility. Forwarding company can send again XML messages via in the EDI interface of bank, respecting SEPA standard, SEPA code, and those transactions can be inserted in bank system, and later they can be confirmed with digital signature. This is just a few activities of one forwarding company regarding external world. They have to prepare for their management various statistics, reports, in regular time intervals or some occasional reports, and at the end there is financial result of one transport operation. Looking at this picture, it's clear that it's very difficult to calculate financial result of this transport when data is dispersed in various IT systems. And even more is difficult to find out which resources are used, what are their expenses, and similar. So briefly, what is common characteristics of the current situation? We have numerous IT systems to use. Those IT systems are just particular solutions for particular steps. IT systems are separated from each other. Following the transport steps is very complicated. Tracing the process from the beginning to the end is not easy. It's difficult to predict or detect any possible mistakes or errors. Reporting sources are from different IT systems, and at the end it's very difficult to calculate or predict final job result and user resources and their expenses. How to improve efficiency? We can start by creating order in own system at IT and organizational level. By collecting and synchronizing data between own and external system, it means manual enter data in IT systems copied from external IT systems. It is something what is not to be recommended to do because it's very time consuming and with possible errors. By tracking transportation process steps and statuses, or better option, by integrating with external IT systems, meaning integrating our internal IT system with external systems, and by including financial operations, invoices inbound and outbound, and payments into unique IT systems. Of course, benefits will be limited depending on the characteristic of the business environment. Again, we are talking here about PCS. To ask if PCS is present or no, it is not, it is strange in some other ports, but we can ask ourselves why we don't have PCS. So TMS can be helpful tool. Here is definition of TMS. A transportation management system is a subset of supply chain management concerning transportation operations and may be part of ERP. It means TMS can be any software designed to support transport process. Pros for that: efficient planning, organization and tracking transportation steps, and integration between own and external IT systems. Cons: lack of the uniform standards regarding messages and data exchange protocols. There are not any defined standards for doing that. As a result, we can expect more control over the business processes. Under one condition, and it is integration has to be done at least with PCS, e-customs, and or C carriers or service providers using electronic transaction platforms. Okay, in this example, I would like to show you how we can perform some transport process when we are using TMS. We will have here one forwarder, we will have container terminal, customs, and sea carriers. And now we will introduce here intra-services provider. Those service provider is helping us to transfer the same message in the same structure to different sea carriers. And it helps because forwarder has to work with one application and not with all applications. For example, we have Maersk Line, CMA, CGM, MSC, and other sea carriers. Each of them has his own IT support. So how it is going, for example, for booking services. Forwarder is preparing booking data, is sending booking data via booking service of intra-service provider to the sea carrier, shipping liner, and shipping liner is responding with booking number or with an error if something is wrong, and this procedure is completed. After that, when booking is accepted, sea carrier is sending COPARN EDI message to container terminal in order to authorize terminal to release the empty containers. And after that, when empty containers are loaded to railway or truck, and when they are left container terminal is responding with Codeco EDI message to sea carrier. Codeco EDI message is containing detailed data about container movement, in this case empty container from terminal to shipper. And what is important here, sea carrier is using track and trace utility and is forwarding container movement data back to forwarder, and those data will be inserted in TMS software, and this system will be updated. So forwarder is alert about container movements. In the next example, we can see how is working shipping instruction service. The same as booking service, forwarder is preparing shipping instructions, is sending shipping instructions data using shipping instructions service of intra-service provider, and sea carrier is responding with confirmation or with an error if something is wrong in data. Forwarder can later send amendments, and everything is working the same way. Sea carrier is confirming on rejecting the amendments. And this shipping instruction procedure is completed. In the meantime, full containers have been returned to container terminal, and forwarder has to place drop-off export for full containers to terminal, asking for terminal to store those containers. When containers have been discharged from railway or from truck, container terminal is again using Codeco EDI and is sending container movement data to C carrier, and C carrier is responding with forwarding this data via track and trace utility back to forwarder. And again, forwarder is updated about container movements. There is another service, VGM, Verify Gross Mass Service, depending on container status, if they await on terminal or before, forwarding company is collecting those data and can use Verify Gross Mass in a series of intra-series provider to forward those data to shipping liner. And shipping liner confirms receiving this data. Okay, now when containers are prepared to be loaded to the vessel, shipping liner is sending movies eddy message to container terminal with detailed container data about all containers to be loaded to the vessel. And in the next step, when containers have been loaded to the vessel, container terminal now responds with query eddy message, sending the container movement data to C carrier. And C carrier is again using track and trace utility to report back to forwarder. Here is also customs. Customs data are not related to intra-service provider, but all necessary data to prepare customs declarations are already in our TMS, so it is easy to prepare XML message and send it to eddy customs interface to perform custom procedures. Now we have two pictures. My intention was to show you how the second picture is more clear and more useful, but both illustrations are complicated because we are talking about complicated procedures. I have simplified them maximally, and I'm still voting for the second picture because advantages of TMS are in that the data is stored in TMS system itself. Data is or generated in TMS or is automatically received from external applications and is stored in TMS. And this is all. Thank you. And I'm wondering if you have any questions. Okay.